Yeah.
Okay, so I am back. It is 10 o'clock. And so if others drop in, that's awesome. We would love to have them. And if it's us, that's awesome too. I am very happy to see you all here and to learn more about OpCity. So without further ado, does everybody know Joanne? If you don't know Joanne Durann, she's our top producer for OpCity. And for the leads and converting them. So she's going to talk to you more about that. She just told you a little bit about it, but I wanted to preface that since I started the recording. So everybody know what we're talking about today. And so without further ado, Miss Joanne, you've got the floor.
Thank you. So yeah, I do a lot with OpCity. They have turned into being probably one of my top 3 resources, believe it or not. If you were on OpCity before, and before I mean like a year ago, and you gave up and walked away from it, you might want to reconsider. Only because one of the things I definitely wanted to stress today is OpCity used to kind of be on its own, but now they're under the Realtor.com umbrella. And one thing we know about Realtor.com is when the people are on Realtor.com, they're a little bit more serious than your Zillow. Zillow is kind of like everybody goes to Zillow. But Realtor.com are people who are actually thinking about buying a home, or they're in the beginning process of it. They might be your 6 to 12 month guys, but they're actually thinking about it and trying to make those steps to see what that looks like. If not, they're ready today, which a lot of, I would say, prior to them being with Realtor.com, I converted maybe 1 out of 20 people. Now that they're with Realtor.com, I'm currently, and this has only been, I guess, maybe 6 months that they've been there, I'm converting 1 in 5 people I've met, that's a serious number. So I'm going to see if I can do that share your screen thing.
Are you able to tell us what you made in the last 6 months? Is that something you're allowed to say, or is that something you're...
Honestly, I would say, but I don't. I'd have to look it up. I did not put in. Kathy, do you have access to look? Well, you probably do, but can you look that up?
She's on mute.
Oh. And let me see. I don't see her here. Oh, probably because I'm doing this. So can everybody...
Kathy, you're on mute.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Yes, I can look that up. I can at least look up what your history's been on OpCity. I don't know if I can tell like 6 months, but I'll pull that up while you're doing it.
To hear that,
Yeah, I've sold 1.5 million. I guess that only goes up to the month of July. I've had several closings in July. 2 of them were OpCity. I had 3 full closings and 2 were OpCity closings. I also have 2 more OpCity closings on the board within the next 2 months. I'm trying to think. Yeah, both of them are in the month of September.
So closed 1.5 million in July alone?
No, that's my overall with them. But a lot of the original money was very small. And that's one thing with OpCity that I'm going to share with you is that in the beginning, you have to take the crappiest leads they have. When you show that you can convert 1 or 2 of those leads, then they give you the better leads. They need to see that you're willing to do it and you're not just there to answer a phone and be done. Because there's a lot of agents that after the first phone call, if that person doesn't call them back, they're just done with it and they move on. OpCity is a little different. I have down on the first slide that OpCity is your personal ISA. And an ISA, if you don't know, is an inside sales agent. Basically, they make cold calls and they warm up the person to get the appointment. That's what OpCity is really doing for you. They are warming up that person that clicked on the button at Realtor.com that says, I want more information about this property. A lot of people think they're getting the actual agent that's selling the property, but they're not, because that's further down. If they click that OpCity button, what happens is you will get a notification to your phone. And when I mean you need to be fast, you need to be fast. There we go. So let me back up and start with the interface. You have to, let me pull up my phone here. You have to, there we go. Sorry, somebody had called me right before. So you have to download the OpCity app. That's the first thing. Once you download the app, then you're going to go into it and enable the push notifications in your settings. And I can help anybody that doesn't know how to do it. I mean, there's a settings button at the bottom, and then you just go to referral preferences. I don't know if y'all can see that because I'm sharing my screen right now. And then you just hit push notifications. But you also can set your preferences at what price ranges you're willing to do and that kind of thing. However, I would suggest right up front, you enable everything. You'll take any lead anywhere for anything, except maybe rentals. That's up to you. I'm not a rental person, but if you don't mind doing rentals, you'll move up the pipeline faster. The push notifications come in twice as fast as when you get an text message. So you really want to, if you can do that, you want to enable those push notifications because it just makes this really cute little blinging noise that's definitely OpCity. I mean, even my dog looks at my phone. You hit the button, hit it as fast as you can, because people are doing it in 11 seconds or less. That's how you kind of really get in there. Once you do this interface and you get the push notifications, you're going to start feeling the leads. Like I said, you need to be quick. It takes the average person who wins 11 seconds. So you barely have time to look at where that lead is. I just click and hope for the best on the lead, because like I said, I did get rid of some. Now that I'm up a little higher, I've gotten rid of it. I don't take anything under 150, and I don't do rentals or leases or anything like that. So I just hit the button. I don't even look. You're most likely to win at that rate of hitting the button. If you stop to look, you're taking that extra couple of seconds that's going to let someone else click ahead of you. The other thing is obviously always have your phone on you, because they will call you within 15 seconds of you winning that win. When it comes up, it'll say you won this referral. You know, if you're by your computer, have your, go ahead and start getting up your MLS, because they're going to ask you about most of the time, I would say probably 85% of the time, it's about a specific property. So you want to feel like you're on it, you're knowledgeable, as if almost like it's your own property. But this way, when they start asking questions, because that's what most of them want, they want to ask a question. Now, the OpCity people that warm them up, they're going to ask them a couple of questions. They're going to ask them, do they have a pre-approval? People lie. Some say they do and they don't. If they say that they don't, they're going to try to set them up with a lender. I let them set them up with whoever they want. And then I also offer our lenders as a secondary choice. If they say that they have a pre-approval and they really don't, that's when you definitely want to get them into a lender situation. When I'm talking to them, I'm like, I'm just going to share your information with my lender and I'll give you his. That way you have an opportunity to talk to somebody so that you can put in the best possible offer. I also tell people with COVID-19, most of the time, unless there's a pre-approval, you can't get in to see property. I don't say all the time, just most of the time. That way I'm not lying. So they're going to do that warm up for you though. They're going to tell you that right on the phone, they're going to call you. They're going to say, hey, this is so-and-so from OpCity. I've got a client on the line. He's looking to spend this much. He's looking at this property. He is pre-approved. Or they'll say he's not pre-approved and we've got an appointment with a lender. Is this a client you can help? At that point, if it's like too far away or they want to go out today, you're welcome to say no. I take the call anyway. Even if I'm busy that day, like at the time that they're trying to get in, because most likely they can move their timing too. If they can't, then I try to squeeze it and work it out. But I've not had anyone say, oh no, I can only do 2 o'clock on this day. I can't do any other day ever. So, I take the calls no matter what, and I work through them. Take really good notes when you're talking to your client. Personally, once I have the client on the phone and the OpCity paperwork comes in on their system, because they have their own referral system, I actually take a copy of that very first page and I write down everything on that paper and I keep that paper. I'm a pencil and person kind of girl. So a pencil and paper kind of person. So I'm always writing notes on that. It also makes them front of mind so that when I go to check my referral base, because every 7 days you have to tell them what you're doing. And they're very picky. They'll shut your leads off if you don't tell them. And then eventually, I guess, they get rid of you. But it's not hard. All you have to do is say, still working or showing homes, something quick and easy. Now, when you get to the amount of referrals like I have in mine, I have them all to do on one day. And literally, I spent a half hour this morning just going down my referrals, pulling out my paperwork, saying, okay, this is what we're doing, and filling it out. But I don't have to deal with it for 7 more days. I just do everything on my own paperwork. But I do say take good notes, because sometimes it says looking in the area, instead of an address, they just have a zip code. Even though that person has asked for a specific address that day, So I make sure I'm writing that down too, just to be safe that they don't have it on there. Again, keeping your referral manager updated, the more the better. They really like lots of notes because again, my presumption is the ISAs are also getting a bonus on you closing. So the more you do for them, the more they like you. I always keep in touch via like auto emails from MLS or from, if you have your own website service that allows you to send emails out from the MLS. So I'm always sending these people homes until they're under contract, just in case there's something they've missed or I've missed. But don't just leave them on a drip campaign. Make sure you call or text the people, because these are people who are here now, but they also went and just clicked a button. So at the same token, they might just click a button somewhere else. So I'm constantly in physical touch, so to speak, with the calls and the text messages. Otherwise, before you know it, they bought a house with somebody else and you're out. The last note was some people aren't truthful because, quite honestly, you know, some people don't want to say whether they have a pre-approval to some random ISA that called them. So that's your job to make that relationship happen so that they will be honest with you, tell you what you need to know. I've always asked for them to send me the pre-approval. The other thing, when I'm done on the phone with them, before I hang up that first initial call, I tell them I'm going to text you from my cell phone so that you have all of my contact information. This way too, I've already made that first step on a second contact, not just the phone call that came in. I'm already giving them, you know, it basically just says, hi, this is Joanne Durann with Keller Williams. It was great talking to you. This is my cell phone. If you see anything else, please text it to me and I'll get the appointment for that as well. You know, depending on how that phone conversation went. There we go. This is how we're doing as Keller Williams Group. That's the overview for everything of how much we've closed this year.
We can't see that.
Oh,
we can only see your PowerPoint. So you have to unshare and reshare a different screen.
Oh, but it's on the PowerPoint. Can you see that where it says overview 8.9 million?
It's only saying moving. It's not moving. It's only saying win with OpCity as the title page.
It hasn't. Oh, bummer. Hold on.
I think you have to click that enable editing button at the top, maybe it says.
I thought I did. Hold on.
It's weird because usually we should be able to see you change.
Yeah, because I've been changing screens.
Oh, well, we've just been listening to you.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I told you.
We didn't know. We didn't ask. No, we didn't.
Yeah, hold on. Let me go to the PowerPoint real quick and make sure.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to unshare and reshare every time unless you're going to some other like tab or window on your computer.
Okay, let me see if this works. Share. Can you see that?
Yep.
This is how we're doing?
Yep. Try changing a page. Try to go back a page just so we can make sure that's working. Yep, perfect.
Okay. I'm going to blow this up a little because it didn't come out as big as I would have liked. Okay, so obviously our active pipeline is almost $19 million. I have probably, if I have to take a guess, like, you know, I want to say 24 people in my pipeline with them so far. And a lot, I would say 8 or 9 are still looking actively. You can see how many the percentages are. The top 10% versus ours, we're getting there. It is a little harder, those meets right now, because a lot of people with COVID are not willing to meet. We're making some offers, and there's, you know, this is the general overview, that there's 8 that are likely to close, 39 are on hold. And some of that also comes with, you know, different situations. I had one couple who was paying cash and the husband got sick. So now we're on hold for a couple of months, and they do have a button that tells you to go on hold. And I'll show that, and I'm going to share that screen in a second. So that if somebody has a situation, I had a very weird one where the wife just took off and they don't know where she went. Like literally, I showed the houses to them. We were out a few times. I had no clue she was just going to leave, but obviously he didn't either. And so he's on hold for right now, because for obvious reasons.
Hello.
Yeah. You know what? I still do the care texting. I still text and say, how are things going? I know school is starting. You know, like I'll have another text today. How did the first day in class go? Because his kids were going in class. from what happened, you know? So I try to stay at least alert with him. That way, you know, who knows, one day he might sell his townhouse or buy something else. Because I was going to get to sell his townhouse and he was buying another property cash. So, you know, I never look at somebody as totally gone unless they say, hey, buzz off, or I have another realtor. And even then I have a drip campaign that's for people with other realtors that doesn't, you know, it doesn't violate any standards. So basically, you know, unless somebody tells me to buzz off, I'm still going to be there. So, but this overview kind of gives you an idea. I'm pulling this over so we can kind of see this a little bit better. We accepted 14 referrals in the last 7 days. I think 3 of them were mine. And again, it goes over how many are active, how many are long-term, and how many agents. One agent isn't receiving alerts, so it could be that they didn't finish every 7 days you have to do your thing and update and update their CRM, which again, I'll show you in a minute. But if you look there, the average winning click time is 11 seconds and the overall average is 32. So if you're not getting to your phone fast enough, it's in the other room, it's wherever, it's basically telling you you're not winning these leads. So I'm going to stop sharing that screen. Let me pull up my OpCity screen. Share screen. Where is my OpCity? Hey, hold on one second. I don't see it there. Oh, I know why. It logged me out. You know what? That's actually a good thing that it logged me out, because then I can show you what it looks like now versus what it did before. Oh, wrong screen. Sorry, my bad. Share screen. Is that? There it is, OpCity. Okay, so this is what the screen looks like when you first get on it. And before it just said OpCity, now it has that realtor.com piece on it. So you just log in. And let's see. Just let me know if it actually, did it flip screens for you guys?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. I literally just finished up yesterday. Oh man, the new ones are up again. Okay, so now I'm the one not receiving. Well, it says warning at the top corner. It'll say not receiving leads because you need to update these, which is really funny because I did all of them this morning except for the ones that told me I had another day. But this is kind of what it looks like. That Donna Joe I met with, we hunted for one house. It wasn't, you know, it wasn't going to be the right fit. But she's a cash buyer. I've already got her proof of funds and she's ready to go. But this is kind of what I wanted to give you an idea of what the whole thing looks like if you've never been on OpCity. So I have my bunch that need to be updated, and then you have your other people here. Now I'm going to go into Nicole. Where is she at? Come on, computer. Sorry. My computer's being fussy. Here we go. I've had her for quite some time. She talks to me, then she doesn't talk to me, then she talks to me, then she doesn't. But this is what kind of the transaction is going to look like. Sometimes they're going to tell you they're buyer and sellers, and they're really not selling a house. I don't know if they just click a button and that's what happens. But this woman was actually supposed to sell her home. I keep checking to make sure it didn't get listed. And we're talking, but then sometimes we don't talk. She just goes through like in and out. But to me, this is somebody you want to keep on top of because no matter what, they're going to eventually do something. I want to go over to the hold screens too to show you how that works in case you've never used any of that. When you click on someone, you can put them on hold. Like this person I have on hold here needs to work on credit. They right now don't qualify. They're on a long-term hold, and all I have to do is hit that hold button, click down, hit the duration, and then the reason why, because at the end of the day that they want to know what you're doing, that you're actually working on things. That's the biggest thing with OpCity is if you keep them informed, then you're going to be one of their people that they like. Hold on one second. I got to move that over. There we go. One other thing that I do, like I told you guys, is I will print the screen that person is on for notes. This is technically the screen that I do. I just hit print and download this piece. That way I always have all the information where they wanted to tour a property. This one happened to go under contract while I was on the phone with the person. So I couldn't obviously get the meeting for that person for that house. But overall, this is kind of where you're at as far as your interface. You need to keep it up to date. And that way, there's also your settings. I'll show you how my settings are. I go pretty far out. I'm within 45 miles of our home base. I listed a house in Bartow. We just had the appraisal. It sold with the first group of people who went in that first day. I'm accepting all the zip codes within there. I disabled, if you go client types, you'll see that I'm not doing investors or rent or lease to own, because I found that their investors are people who are leasing. They're really not investors. I also don't do mobiles and manufacturer because I don't have the license for that. So that is one thing. If you don't have that extra license, which is more like an automotive sell license, you want to disable that, because they will send you property that's inside of a trailer park, which has leased lots, and we can't do those. I have my push notifications enabled. You can do not disturb. If you're going to be on vacation or you're out with a client that you absolutely cannot be disturbed on, click that. That way you don't, they won't send you the lead, so it doesn't count against you as something that you let go. And then there's the Agent Support Help Center, which is great. If you ever have questions, call them up. They're very, very, oops, I went there. They're very, very helpful. They help you out like with different questions, things. If you're not getting leads, call them, find out why you're not getting leads. For a while, about a year ago, I felt like I wasn't getting leads for like 9 months straight. So I called them, and they were going through a transitional phase. They got rid of a lot of people who were not producing, and that's when they went with realtor.com. So it really has changed since then. So I'm going to stop sharing that screen and go back to the PowerPoints. Share that. Okay. That's pretty much where I'm at in personal stats. I meet with 41% of my clients. The top 10% of agents meets with 52% of clients. My click time is pretty fast. As you can see, top 10% is within 23 seconds. This is where we were as of the end of the month. So that's all the people who have used OpCity and have closed some kind of deal. Some of these at the bottom are still pending, so they're on their first deal. Congratulations to anybody that's doing that. And I guess, it's pretty much being quick, having it enabled correctly, and keeping up with their CRM. So, and use that as your personal notebook for each person. So as long as you do those things, you'll have success with OpCity, and you can use them kind of like your 135, your 411. That's how I have it listed here. It's all in the numbers. It's part of your 135, your 411 plan. Just use them as another, like your sphere of influence is one, OpCity can be one, and then you have your other places. I do want to go back to the 2-year agreement, because I didn't realize this because I just signed in and signed up and I didn't read everything. Luckily, Rebecca is amazing and smart and knows all the good stuff. These clients are OpCity's clients as well for 2 years. So I had someone who purchased the first OpCity lead I had, purchased a $40,000 condo in St. Pete, and then 2 years later sold it. But luckily, it was 2 years and a month later, because if they had sold it a year and 11 months later, I owed OpCity 35% of that sale. So anything you do with them, and they do check, within 2 years, you have to alert OpCity, let them know it's happening, and give them their credit. So that's the one thing about OpCity, when it's not like a normal referral from another agent. Yes, they get part of that deal, but they don't get the rest of the deals that come after. OpCity gets everything for 2 years. And even if it's the husband and the wife called in, it's still their deal. It's not just yours because they weren't the person on there. Just please alert Rebecca that if it's the wife has a different name, that's who it belongs to. So that way all the paperwork goes through, because if they wait too long, then they'll stop your referrals until you get your paperwork and your money into them. So does anybody have questions?
I think that was very thorough.
You ever find out how much you made?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I can tell you. I'm looking at hers. So it looks like, Joanne, when you signed up for, when our office first signed up for OpCity back in 2017, you had 3 closings that year with OpCity. You had a couple in 2018, and then there was a break, and that's when OpCity was people were having trouble with it. They weren't getting good leads, and most people kind of opted out of it. Since then, since 2020, you had one in February, it was 206,000, and then one in July for 225, and one in August for 180. But did you have another one in August? Did you have one?
Yeah, there are two of them actually that I had yesterday.
Okay. So is that 3 in August then? That'll be 3 in August for you.
Yeah, and one of them was a thing for 254, and then the other one was 192.
Okay. Yeah, so that's what I'm seeing here. And of course, this was until they get their payment, they're not putting it in the closed file. So
Right.
when I look at yours for closed, active.
Rebecca take care of that, by the way?
Do what?
Does Rebecca take care of the payment for them?
Yes, it goes on your commission tab as a referral.
Yep.
So you make sure you put it in there so she knows.
I don't need to worry about doing the actual thing for them. Once I get on the commission tab, Rebecca
Right.
just
If you
check.
put on the commission tab that there's a referral for OpCity. If you don't do that, we're still gonna have to pay it and we'll come get it.
Yeah.
So put it on there so it comes out when you expect it, not when you don't expect it.
Yeah, right.
The other thing is you pay them 30% for anything 150 or less. And if it's 150 or more, or I should say 149,999 or less is 30%. 150 or more is 35.
Question, Joanne.
Uh-huh.
When you were saying the 2 years, if you ended up getting a listing at 1 month, 1 year and 11 months, but
Well,
it
then-
didn't sell until 2 year and 1 month,
Oh,
The closing.
the closing is
yeah.
being that you got an executed contract for listing before the 2 years, would you have to pay them?
It's if it closes within 2 years.
Okay, closes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're serious about this. They, at first, well, I don't know what they did before. We've had 2 recently that closed a while ago, 2 years ago or more. One of them was more than 2 years ago. And it was really complicated, but they're going to charge us. They are charging us. There's another one we went ahead and paid off that I'm trying to get back from an agent who left because we have documentation. When you leave, if you leave Keller Williams, we have a agreement with OpCity. You don't, right? So, but you do, but you can't join OpCity just by yourself, as far as I know. You've got to go through the brokerage. And so when you leave, there's a form that they produce that lists all of your leads on it, and you sign it agreeing that you're going to pay a referral fee on any of it. So there are ways for them to come after you later to get that. So just make sure you're being upfront with it and you're keeping good notes, because sometimes if it's 2 years later, you forget where somebody came from. So that's a good reason to use your database. And when you have your customer in there, make sure you're noting the source. So if somebody comes back around later, you'll know that whether they came as a referral from somebody that you need to thank, or if it was from OpCity or from a mailer you did. Keeping track of that's super important.
Deborah?
How do you log into OpCity? I'm sorry, I was about 7 or 8 minutes late getting into the meeting.
Hold on, I'll just share that screen real quick again. Share screen.
Just go to OpCity.com. Are you in OpCity? I got to see if you're.
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'm not in OpCity right now.
No. Have we put you in as a user? You're not in there automatically unless we have to put you in.
I guess I need to be put in.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Awesome.
Well, I just shared, if you can see that, it's referrals.opcity.com. That's the actual, once you're in, that's the actual website that you would go to. Referrals.opcity.com,
Yep.
if you're writing it down. And then, yeah, you have to go through Kathy, because she's right. As a normal agent, like even if I left tomorrow, they're not going to let me in OpCity because it's with the brand. So I would have to stay with here. And they said that they're being very picky because the reason for July being so bad is they had too many agents on and too many agents that weren't doing anything. So, that's why a lot of us just get leads. As good as I was doing for them, I still wasn't getting leads. So they really kind of changed things around.
Yep.
So Kathy, you'll set me up, right?
I will.
Thank you, ma'am.
You are welcome.
Once you start,
Kathy, I need access to.
huh?
Yes, Avia, sure.
Okay,
I'll
thank
get you
you.
in there too.
And once you start doing things over and over and you start showing them that as soon as you start showing that you're actually meeting with people, and now they're allowing you to count a Zoom meeting as a meeting, which is good because I have people who right now are in other states, obviously trying to move down here, and I meet with them via Zoom meeting first. And sometimes I go to the house and do the Zoom meeting right at the house. So now they're counting that as a meeting where before they weren't. They've decided that is a good meet. So because it's productive and it gets the lead in touch with you, and it's a lot more personal. So now they're counting that as a meet. As soon as you meet with them, you need to click on that button that says meet when house hunting and let them know where, what you met, if you met at a house, if you just met as a buyer's consultation or a seller consultation, that way. Somebody just asked down here, I think it says, how do I change my location? You have to click on that button that says settings in your OpCity thing, and then go to your zip code and also how many miles out you're willing to go. Because I get leads in Sarasota too, because I'm willing to go that far out. They'll have like kind of like a big radius circle.
And I don't have a problem going to Sarasota, but I have one now that's under contract, and it's Manatee County, and I'm not an expert in that area. And so I just don't feel like it's a good thing for me to be down there trying, I don't know the area. I don't know anything about anything down there. So I look kind of, out of my league.
The only other thing to do then is I'll be honest, when I started selling in Sarasota, I got online, I learned all their codes, all their, how their zoning went. I just started learning the information because if they're going to give me a good lead down there and it pays good, then I'm going to take it. But like you, I need to be that kind of expert. So I actually have spent days, Wesley Chapel, I spent a day driving around Wesley Chapel, getting to know the area and finding out all the places about it that that would be appealing to people, because I had a client who was coming in from out of town and I didn't want to look stupid, for lack of a way to say it. I don't want to look dumb. I want to have as much info as possible.
Okay,
so,
thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's Shinto. Will you be penalized? Like, I've been claiming leads, and I figured rentals will be the quickest way to emerge out of the emerging agent, because they're quick closes and there's not as much obviously to do. I could close a rental tomorrow if I wanted to, but as we start talking, either they have credit issues or they decided to stay in the place. They have 3 dogs that are over 100 pounds. It's been it's been a little crazy. So I've kept studious notes. I've kept good notes, gave them good notes, but I released the leads back to them. One was a mobile home, which I actually did all the diligent work and actually had. I found a woman that actually handles it. They made the sale and stuff like that. Obviously, I didn't get credit for it because I was doing mobile homes and stuff like that. But I don't want to keep claiming these rentals and get penalized for it, I guess is where I'm going.
As long as you're giving them the good reasons why, you should be penalized for it, but it's also the reason to take rentals, because a lot of rentals are bad. They're really, and I thought at first, like you, it would be an easy way to move things up. And I also thought that that these were people I could eventually turn into buyers. But like you, I quickly found out they weren't. So I just disabled them because it wasn't getting me where I wanted to go.
Okay. All right, cool. So you said it won't, you broke up a little bit. So you said it won't penalize, but you also found that it was kind of a dead end.
Now, you're not penalized if I'm not sure, my internet's a little unstable. It's funny, I'm in the office. You're not penalized as long as you're keeping the good notes, you're putting the notes in there, and you're letting them know why you're releasing them. I've released several. One guy just was never going to be able to purchase a home because he didn't want to do what it took to get there. I had him on a plan. He was with a lender who was telling him what to do, and he was getting worse, not better. So I had to let him go.
Thank you.
Anybody have any other questions?
We got
Yeah, I don't have any more.
chats. Okay, nope, I think we answered everything in the chat, so that's good. Well, that's
And
awesome.
I'm also available. If somebody has a question later you think about, you can always call or text me.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like that this is pretty much like any other type of lead generation, right? That you just got to be persistent and consistent, keep track of what's happening with the lead. I actually think it's pretty good practice, even though it gets annoying when they send you the reminders to update a customer, because you have to think about that person. And that's how you should be handling all your leads, right? You should follow that model, is that you're updating them on a regular basis by checking in with them and knowing what's going on. Because if anybody wants to hear something kind of make you sick to your stomach, Ben Whetstone stopped in yesterday, and he's been going back over his old leads and cleaning up his database. He's got like 4,000 people in his database, many of which are just bought leads that nothing ever happened with, or they weren't ready or whatever, just like Joanne's big list of leads from OpCity. There's a lot of them that aren't ready right now or not able. And he went back through them and started calling them. And just yesterday found out, well, not yesterday, I think there were 3 that he talked to that have already purchased, not with him. And then he went back, he's been doing this for, I don't know, a week or 2. So far, he has found $160,000 in lost income because he didn't follow up.
Wow. That's a lot.
Yeah. I mean, some of you are newer agents, but some of you are not. And it just stinks when you find out that somebody that you had worked with, and then they, it had been a while, they had to drop off, for a bit, or they weren't really ready at the time, or they didn't have credit or whatever. And then you find out, a year or 2 later that they bought or sold with somebody else. And you could just kick yourself because it's like, why didn't I keep in touch with them? That's why having some kind of system is super important. And OpCity makes you use the system, right? They make you do something. At least they make you update. They're not making you make a contact with that person, but they're making you update. So hopefully that would trigger you to contact that person just to check in. So the more we can come up with this, and that's what, Command helps with the smart plans by helping to keep you on top of what's going on with them. So.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is they keep you accountable, and none of us like to cold call unless I'm wrong. Maybe one of you do. It's not me.
Yeah. Who likes to cold call?
I don't like to cold call. They're doing it for you. Like when you think somebody's actually doing the cold call for you and handing somebody who hasn't hung up or called them a nasty name. They're taking the abuse and you're getting the benefit. Yep. So it's just a matter of keeping them top of mind.
Yeah, that's what I really like about OpCity. It's live transfers. I mean, it's a transfer of a person that's interested in.
Yeah. It's a warm lead. Whether it turns out to be a profitable lead or not is to be seen, but that's the way real estate is, right? It's a numbers game. Every lead is not going to turn into a closed transaction.
Right. And they're at least warming the lead up for you and handing the phone over to you. They literally say, I'm going to jump off the line. You guys talk and let us know if you need anything.
Yeah.
And when you're just talking to that person that's already not hung up. I can't stress enough that they haven't hung up. And that's the cool part of it. They're already warm enough to say, yeah, I want to have a conversation with a professional.
That's both.
Yep.
Hi.
I muted her. Did anybody have any other questions? Well, Joanne, thank you so much for doing this for us today. We appreciate it. Any insight we can get is helpful. And if anybody else has any special topics they'd like to have us do trainings on, let us know. If you have something you would like to do a training on, let me know and we'll get you on here.
Thanks, Joanne.
Oh, no problem. I put my cell phone in the chat box.
Oh, great. Thank you. And I think Deborah had a final question.
I, I hope I can remember it now. Zoom, you say that we can meet our clients with a Zoom meeting. Do we have to have a software? Do we have to download a Zoom software to do that?
You're on Zoom now.
Well, I know I'm on Zoom, but you created it. I just logged in.
You can create a free account at zoom.com.
Okay.
And it will allow you to do up to a 40-minute meeting, which you shouldn't need more than that. We're at 41 minutes right now for this whole class. So you shouldn't need that long for a meeting with a customer. And so you can use that free account.
Thank you.
And they have great little training videos on there to show you how to do it. It's not hard.
Thank you very much.
There is a video button though on, if you're talking about meeting someone via, video on OpCity, there's a little video button that's on there.
That's interesting. Okay.
I've never used it because I've always used Zoom or I have, if you have a Facebook that is strictly business that you log into, not a page, but a logged into Facebook, you can have them friend your Facebook and do a face-to-face meeting on Messenger. So there's a lot of different places you can do it. I just don't want clients on my my personal Facebook. I try to keep them off of there, and I just don't need another Facebook. I have 27 pages that I have to keep on top of. So my life, some of them are cleaning pages for my husband's cleaning company. Some of them are because I'm an author. I have 5 pages for that, So, I mean, there's enough of Joanne Zoom, Facebooks out there. We don't need any more.
Whoa. An author? What? I'm going to call you.
Okay.
Yeah. We can talk about that at a different time.
Author. Good.
So, I mean, there's all the faces of Joanne that are there. And so to me, Zoom is easy. Everybody knows about it now because of COVID. It's, older people don't mind using it as much as they do Facebook and all the other places. So it ended up being the easier one for me. So I never used the OpCity version because people don't really know that. They know Zoom. It's a big name now. I wish I bought stock.
Right.
So. Don't we all? Don't we all?
2 quick questions. Joe, does it have to be documented that you had the Zoom? So was it better to go through them, or is it okay if I do time if they have an Apple phone?
Oh, you can do whatever you want. I just click the little button because I have done some Facebook ones because some people are actually, my friends want to move. They want a condo down here. So I will hit the button. It says house for me, and I'll put down Facebook Messenger video call.
Okay.
Show the house or had the conversation, whatever it was. To me, that's a meet.
Okay. Kathy, if you need somebody to collect while I'm waiting for these OpCity leads to break through, I'll gladly go and collect those outstanding OpCity dues that weren't. Give me
One of them we don't think we owe, but we're fighting with them. The other one we knew we owed and we paid. Well, I just got to get it back from the agent now. I really don't want to sue them, but if you're offering to use some other techniques, maybe we'll take you up on that.
Well, yeah, I don't know much about litigation, but hey, I got some other techniques. Some of them right now.
Right.
He's adorable, by the way.
Oh, he's trouble. Look at him.
He's trouble, yeah. He's busy. All right, anybody have anything else? Aw. Thank you so much for being here today.
Yes, thank you.
Have a great week.
You're welcome. Bye.
Most of you I'll see on Thursday at 9:30.
Yep.